Hi friends, this is part 2 of our King Midas story. We are going to finish reading this story, but first, before we do that, I want to review what happened in those first 18 paragraphs. So if you turn to page 16, let's go ahead and review our summary. Remember, yours might sound a little bit different than mine because we are all individual writers, but here is what I wrote. King Midas loves gold and wants more of it. He doesn't want to overtax his people. He goes for a walk in his garden and meets an old, hungry, and tired satyr. He is very kind to him, so the satyr goes back to Dionysus and tells him King Midas is granted a wish from Dionysus. He decides what to wish for. I don't know where the rest of that word went, but it's there somewhere. So now we kind of started guessing what King Midas was going to wish for. He maybe thought about wishing for a big palace, but then he thought, no, not that. Then, when we left off, he says he knew exactly what to wish for, and it would make him the most powerful king in the ancient world. So let's go ahead and continue our reading. Please make sure that you have a pencil, a highlighter, and your booklet open to page 16. We are starting, actually, let's start in paragraph 18. We'll review that last paragraph that we read.
For something special. Suddenly, Midas sat up straight, and his eyes glowed. He knew exactly what to wish for, and his wish would indeed make him the most powerful king in the ancient world. "I wish that everything I touch will turn to gold," declared Midas. He stood up and clapped, as he was so proud of and excited by his wish. Dionysus shook his head and frowned. "Are you sure that is your wish?" "I am. Yes, it is my wish." Midas strolled quickly up and down the throne room. His smile curved upward to his ears as he noted all the objects that he could turn to gold. The god sighed. "I grant your wish, King Midas. Everything you touch will turn to gold." Dionysus's voice echoed in the palace as he disappeared on a gust of wind. Midas began to wander giddily around the palace. As he went from room to room, he giggled. What to touch? What to touch? He touched his hairbrush, and it turned to gold. Midas couldn't believe his good fortune. Soon he would be the richest king in the world. He continued to touch things as fast as he could. His dining room table and chairs turned to gold. His plates, cups, forks, and spoons turned to gold. Tired from the excitement, Midas went to his bedroom for a nap. His fingers grazed his mattress, and it turned to solid gold. The golden mattress was hard and cold. "Oh, well," said Midas, who preferred his soft, downy mattress. "Gold is good." And with that thought, Midas fell asleep. Upon waking, Midas's stomach told him it was time for supper.
Okay, so he got his wish granted that everything he touched would turn to gold. And of course, he's thinking this will make him so powerful, right? But what starts happening? He touched his hairbrush, no big deal, it turned to gold. The cups, the plates, the forks, no big deal. But then he starts getting tired. He wants to go take a nap on his mattress. He touches his mattress, and what happens? Of course, it turns to gold. Who would want to sleep on a golden mattress being so hard and cold? Well, oh well, he fell asleep anyway. So let's take our highlighters and let's highlight some of these important details that we've been talking about. So, of course, we have to highlight Midas's wish. So back to paragraph 19. I wish that everything I touch will turn to gold. And Dionysus was kind of hesitant. Are you sure you want that? And Midas said, yeah, I do. So Dionysus granted his wish. So he starts playing and some things start to turn to gold and it's not a big deal. But what was the first thing that was not so great being in gold? His mattress. So his fingers grazed his mattress and turned it to gold. You think he's going to continue turning more stuff to gold? You think he's going to like it still? I don't know. Let's check it out.
Sitting at his long, newly golden table, Midas smelled the delicious food waiting for him. Marigold sat across from her father. She nibbled on a warm, fragrant piece of bread. "Father, you must eat the bread. It's delicious." A hungry Midas grabbed the bread, but before he could take a bite, the bread turned to gold. Midas quickly dropped the golden loaf. He picked up a juicy red apple, but it, too, turned to inedible gold. "Oh no!" cried Midas. "If everything I touch turns to gold, I will never be able to eat. I could starve." Midas looked so upset and worried that Marigold's eyes filled with tears. Marigold ran to comfort her father, and without thinking, Midas hugged his precious daughter. "No!" screamed Midas in despair, but it was too late. Marigold had turned to gold. "Dionysus, please help me," pleaded a weeping Midas.
Oh my gosh, can you believe it? So all of his food started turning to gold. And then, of course, who did he turn into gold? Sweet Marigold, the thing that he loved more than anything in the world, even gold. So let's grab our highlighters and let's check out what's going on. So we know that everything he touches, including his food, turns to gold. The bread turned to gold. The juicy red apple turned into inedible gold, which means he can't eat it. And then he gets worried, if I touch everything, I will never be able to eat. But then what happens? The worst thing of all. Marigold feels so sad for her father and she runs over and he hugs her. So when Midas hugged his precious daughter, he turned her to gold. And now he's screaming for Dionysus to help. "Dionysus, please help me," pleaded a weeping Midas. Do you guys think Dionysus is going to be able to help? I don't know. Let's keep reading.
Dionysus heard Midas's cries for help and appeared in the palace faster than it took for a teardrop to roll down Midas's cheek. "What is wrong?" "The wish you granted me is a curse. I see that now. I must rid myself of this terrible power." Dionysus nodded his head. Midas had learned a valuable lesson. "Go to the river and wash your hands. Once you do, things will return to normal," said the god. Midas raced to the river and washed his hands until they were as red as bricks. Then he ran back to his palace chanting, "Please let Marigold be fine." Marigold ran down the stairs and hugged her father. As tears of happiness flowed, Midas made a decision. He would give away any gold left in the treasury at the end of the year, for all that glitters is not always golden.
All right, so did Dionysus help save Sweet Marigold? Yes. Okay, so let's go back to paragraph 31 and let's kind of highlight how he gets his wish reversed. So right now, why don't you pause the video and highlight what does Dionysus tell him to do? So Dionysus says, go to the river and wash your hands. Once you do, everything will return to normal. So King Midas goes and he does this. And then he's hoping and chanting that Marigold is fine. And when he gets back, she runs down the stairs and hugs her father, and tears of happiness flow down to King Midas's face. So he decides in the end that he would give away any gold left in the treasury at the end of the year, for all that glitters is not always golden. So what does that mean? For all that glitters is not always golden. Do you think King Midas learns a lesson here? Do you think he realizes that having all the gold in the world is not as good as having a relationship with his daughter? That there are better things in life than just money and riches and gold? I think he learned that, right? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to work on a summary together. I'm going to start it with you, and then I'm going to have you finish it. I think that we should write it on page 18 because there is more room on that page. So go ahead and grab your pencil and make sure you're on page 18 so we can start to write. So, thinking back to where we left off. So that cliffhanger, we didn't know what King Midas wanted, right? And so way back in paragraph 19, he gets his wish. I wish that everything I touch will turn to gold. Whoops. Okay. So we know that Dionysus, grants King Midas the power to turn everything into gold. After turning his what? Mattress into gold, he realizes he might have a problem. Then he accidentally turns Marigold into gold and is very upset about it. So after he turns his daughter into gold, I want you guys to finish this summary. What happens? You'll probably need 2 more sentences, maybe 3. So what happens after King Midas turns his daughter into gold? All right, so you don't have to have the same thing as me, but I want you to make sure that you have something similar. You need to make sure to include that King Midas asked Dionysus to reverse the wish, and King Midas, what did he have to do? Had to wash his hands in the river to get his daughter back to normal. Now, what lesson did he learn? He realize that he's going to share his gold because it's not everything that glitters is always golden, right? So make sure that if you didn't include that little lesson at the end, that you do now. So he learns that not everything that glitters is, how did they say it? Not that everything that glitters is not always golden. I'm going to make mine a little bit longer. So basically, he realizes that there are more important things than just gold and riches. All right. Great job, friends. See you later.